Well, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Pew. I am your man, Ron Todd, and I am super excited to be here. As you can see, a familiar face is here, Javis Mays. What's up, Javis?
What's up? What's up, everybody?
All right, you guys see some new faces today. We got guest co-host Nina Davis, as well as Maurice Hawkins. Nina. What's up, y'all?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Listen, so we're going to have a great show today. I'm super excited, guys. So listen, if you are just chiming in, make sure y'all do us a big favor and like and share. Can y'all do that for us? Can you start liking and sharing this broadcast, letting somebody know that the Pew is on and we have an amazing show for you guys. As always, I see our faithful crew members are already coming in. Listen, y'all know how we do it. When you come in, make sure you say something to us. I see you. Aaliyah Essence says, hey, y'all, happy Pew Day. Hey, Aaliyah.
What's up, Leah?
How you doing?
All right. Renee Rogers says it's the Pew crew. That's right. We here. We here for y'all. We ready. Renee, you see my quick change? Renee was just hanging with me. Hey. All right. Let's see who else we got here. Yvette Brown says good evening. Good evening, Yvette. Yvette, like Javis, she's really becoming like one of our loyal Pew crew members. Like I'm seeing her every week. Yeah, that is what's up. Kiana Parker says, hey, Pew crew.
What's up?
Kiana, you on time and everything this week. That's what's up. You ain't missing nothing. Kobe Bolden is in the building. She says, hey, y'all, love with a heart symbol. She said it's Pew Day. That's right. What's up, Kobe? Jessica McGee's on time today, too. What's up, Jessica? What's going on? You made it. She says, hey, Travis Atkins, we see you, man. Good evening, Pew crew. Good evening, Travis. Hey, man, Travis, listen, you've earned the right. You are in the Pew crew, all right? Travis is loyal. We love seeing you, man. Kiana Parker talking about some and not. Renee Rogers says, quick change, Pastor Ron. Yeah, I was moving quick from service. Savannah Blunt says, Pew crew. Hey. That's it. What's up, y'all? Listen, if you're just chiming in, make sure you guys are sharing. Share this. We got an amazing show today, so make sure you guys share, all right? Travis Atkins says, thanks, man. No, thank you. Thank you for being a faithful viewer, man, and being a part of what we do here. So, guys, as you're coming in, we'll definitely give you guys some shout-outs and say hey to you. Once you share, I want you to write in the chat box. Just put shared, all right? Let us know that you've already shared. But I want to talk to our guest co-host real quick because Nina Davis is here and Nina is so amazing. And I'm going to tell you what's so not amazing about me. Like I had all these notes that I wrote down earlier about these amazing things that Nina does. And I know because I know Nina. But like I want to be able to like say the official names of different things. Like this amazing company that she has where she goes around and she empowers people and she does like staff development and development. Nina, tell us a little bit about yourself before I mess it up.
No, you're perfect. You're right on the money. So my business is called The One Life to Live. And it's exactly about that personal development, but it's taken everything from at-risk youth all the way to those that are entering the workforce and ending on corporate associates. So it's just an awesome opportunity of just transformations and helping people kind of get those real conversations that you really didn't get and you won't get from the companies you work for because they want you to drink from the Kool-Aid their way. But mine just kind of intersects and helps out with either fundraising or volunteering to really speak to the truth of what, helps you get that seat at the table. So no, thank you so much for having me. I love that though, Pew crew.
Yes, we so glad to have you on the pew tonight. Literally, you sitting on the pew with us. That's what's up.
Hey, I'm glad to be here.
Yes, let the church say amen.
Amen.
Let me tell you. So my brother Maurice is on tonight, and what's so awesome about Maurice is, he's a PK like me, and his father is actually my bishop. That's why we're brothers. And the thing that's so awesome is he was actually serving tonight, and because he's such a servant and obedient, That's why he's not home yet. Like he's literally still driving. And I have so much mad respect for that because what we do in ministry, that's like our first priority. So it's like, yeah, I got to do a podcast, but guess what? Ministry calls, so I'm not going to rush from my duties, so I really appreciate you, making it happen and still being here. And I understand what you're doing in ministry. So that's what's up, man. Like big ups.
Most definitely, man. Glad to be here.
Now, you guys, for those of you guys who may not know Maurice Hawkins, he is an amazing person. He is an amazing entrepreneur, and he actually is opening up a new group home called Dream. Tell me again.
Dream Center LLC.
Dream Center LLC, and we're super excited about that. Tell us a little bit about it, Maurice.
I'm opening up a business for mental health assisted living home. We had a few rental properties that we turned into an assisted living. So now we're just in the process. It got approved. So we're going to be starting that assisted living home in August. So basically just getting everything together, hiring, just getting the procedures together, all the paperwork that we need just to be able to help the community, give back. So
that is super dope, man.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, man, that is absolutely amazing. Speaking of amazing, there's like an amazing twin that is on the show with us. His name happens to be Javis Mays. He's one of the amazing Mays twins. Was that like a corny transition?
You did just fine, Ron.
I tried, man. I was trying.
I mean, you transitioned, you brought it on home. You did just fine.
I'm so glad. What's going on with you, bro?
I just, we're going into the month of July, birthday month. Yes. So, I mean, I've since I got my vaccine shot or whatever, I've been running so much and I've been traveling so much. So the month of July, I'm going to kind of take the month off. I took matter of fact, took a term off of this doctoral program as well. And I'm closing down mentoring for about 2 months. I'm going to take a month or two out of the year and just do some self-care, rest a little bit and just sit back because it's a lot. I mean, when you wake up every morning about 7, but you don't go to bed to 10, 11 o'clock at night and it's all been work, after a while, it's like, okay, I have to find some type of balance. And, it's balance is spiritual, is you have to learn how to take care of yourself while you're taking care of everything else. And I think that I felt like I was becoming overwhelmed, and rather than react and act out, I just knew that it was time to pull away a little bit and just, rest. So that's what's taking place for July. Rest.
I love it.
Beaches,
rest and relaxation.
Nice hotels. Yeah, but it's gonna be
but hold on, Javis. This sounds like your normal if you're not working. If you're not working, you be somewhere on the beach.
Well, but every time you see me on the road, I'm actually doing music or I'm working.
You are working.
And so to me, it's not really relaxation. Even when you have the nice things or the nice hotels, it's almost like I'd rather have a nice hotel that I can actually lay down in, relax, go to the pool, go to the beach. But if you're just simply working and running and your mind is working, then you're not really, relaxing and resting and taking that break, like de-stressing. Yeah. So.
Right. Hey, Shelly Boo, I love you.
So that's what I'm getting ready to do.
Savannah Blunt talking about go lay down. And he laying down by himself, Savannah.
Yeah. Well, I got the kids here. The kids are here.
But you bring up a good point that just, that self-care is so underrated, and you really have to check in with your body and check in with yourself. It lets you know, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. I knew that I was becoming stressed because I haven't taken any pain medication for the 3 discs in my neck. But I started feeling tension like about a week and a half ago. And I knew that, it had to be the stress because again, I hadn't taken any pain medication for the last six months. And I knew I just started feeling really tight up here, and my sleep started being funny. And I was like, I'm stressed, so. And so I just I emailed the school, told them I need to take a term off, which is like 7 to 8 weeks, and nobody answered me back like for 4 days. So I started calling everybody. I was like, I'm taking July off. I'm taking July, August off. I told y'all, take this class off my schedule. I'm not paying for it. I'm not going to class. But I'm sitting here looking at on my phone. It's pinging me like, you have assignments that are coming up. I'm like, I'm not in this class. No.
Bro, you know what? You've been doing so great though. Like literally, like with your career, not just your secular career, but your music career, and in this doctorate program. I mean, the way you've been balancing it and doing the Pew has been nothing short of amazing. So I'm like super proud of you.
I don't know if that was balance. I don't know what it was, but it was like surviving.
Well, I tell you what, you had all that going on, and you were all that going on, and still able to do this.
All the time, all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. I could. That's why we praise you. We lift you up. We glorify you. We magnify you. You are good. You are good. You are good.
I think he's good. What y'all think? The Lord is good, isn't he?
All the time.
Yes, sir. Maurice, turn your camera sideways for me, bro.
Surely is.
There we go.
He is good.
He is good, man. So you mentioned going on vacation, and that brings us to our first topic, guys. Let's talk about vacation. Statistically, they say that this is vacation season. And so that's really interesting to me because although I go on vacations in the summertime, I actually prefer, because I live in the Midwest and it's warm now. So I prefer to go on vacation in our colder months, which is like fall and winter. So I guess that whole, vacation season is relative to where you live and what you like. But I'm interested to know, like, what are your favorite vacation spots, guys?
Puerto Rico for me. Love it.
And you just came back from Puerto Rico, right?
I did.
So, I mean, what do you like about it?
I mean, you get the heat, right? And then you got this amazing breeze coming off the water that, it's just a good mixture. You know what I mean? And then the people down there is great. So I just like it, man. It's a good island to go to.
Yeah,
and you don't need a passport.
Like
and you don't need a passport.
That's right.
It's true.
You remind him now, Morris. Remind him now.
Right. I was just thinking the same thing. Like, I like that. What were you gonna say, Javis?
Either New York City or Miami Beach. Like it's like total opposites. I do both of those a lot. Those are my vacation spots. I love Miami because I love the beach. I could live on the beach, but then I also love New York because I could live in the middle of the city where it's loud and it would not bother me at all. So it's like these two. I guess that's why I'm in Orlando. I'm like, over in Dr. Phillips. So we're like in the, it's real, nice and quiet and, of the other persuasion, it's different. But, yeah, man, Miami, like I love Miami. Matter of fact, me and the family's going down next week. We're gonna go down and hang out for a few days in Miami. And yeah, I'm ready for that.
So I can feel you on Miami. However, while Kevin is chiming in NYC with a smiley face because we know he's in New York, the only thing is they say New York got them rats. I can't, and you be on the subway and everything. I can't deal with no rats, bro.
You better leave New York with the rats alone. Every city got
I'm quite sure some rats in Detroit too. It's some
And
rats in
I
Detroit.
don't be nowhere near them.
I was about to say
Yeah,
Baltimore.
you just
got
don't
some big
know it.
rats too.
Dude, they say the ones in
Louisiana.
New York are like cats.
They are big. They are big.
It's crazy though. I've never seen one. The whole time I've been, I've never seen a rat in New
You
York
not
City.
looking for them. See, I'm so petrified about it. I'll probably like be getting on the subway looking. Like, like is that one? Is that one?
You can't miss it.
Everybody that I know have said that they've seen rats
See?
on like in New York.
See, but they
I've
not
just never
bold
seen
like
one.
them New York City rats. That's what I already know.
Y'all just thought they were men in costumes. That's all it was.
Right. Because like last time you was in New York, you took a picture like on the subway, and in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, he was on the subway. That's where the rats be at, by the subway tracks.
It's not like they're coming up to you. Rats are usually running in the opposite direction of you. Like run, cut it out.
Kevin say, I sent you a message in your inbox. Show it to the folks.
We got
I'm
to.
scared, Kevin. I'm scared to see what it
You got to filter it first.
is. Right. Wait, Deborah D. Brown says they don't bother you like looking for food. They scurry. Okay, well that's good to know. Oh, Kevin said it's a funny rat video. Oh my gosh. Kiana says, show us. Okay, I'm gonna work on it. Hold on, let me work on that. I'll show y'all. All right, Nina, what's your spot?
Yeah, while you're queuing that.
Right.
Spot is, I would definitely say Costa Rica. Only because for the level of impoverishedness and kind of what their country has gone through and just the resources that they don't have, they take such good care of their country. They take such good care of their tourists as well as each other. Our money goes so far there. It's ridiculous. Like you tip and you would think it's just kind of a normal US tip. And out there, they're like, I could, pay my rent for 3 months, or I could buy food for my family. So you're like, you're out there having a good time, but it's definitely a humbling experience. And everybody's so nice that they, instead of, you say thank you or you're welcome for something, they just say puta vida, pure life. So for you think about people and they have lack of resources, or the world's against them on this or that, and you go to Costa Rica and it's like there's nothing going for that country in a sense, right, other than really beautiful views. But getting small resources sent over to their country costs so much money, and they're like, yeah, pura vida, life is good, and you're like, what? But it was such a good experience.
But what about the water? I heard the water situation, like showers and
Didn't have a problem with that. I didn't have a problem with in any country outside of the US, you're going to have kind of like those little quirks. So the water pressure wasn't the greatest, but they were taking us to different parts of the island and different parts of their country. And man, we were walking in the beach. It's so beautiful. The water's crystal clear. Everybody's super nice. It was really nice. And they have no reason to be nice to you, really, at the end of the day,
Right.
Grateful.
But I find that a lot of places outside of the US, people are nice.
Very true.
But then it's like here, I find that the southern states people are pretty nice, but up here in the Midwest, people are not so nice. I don't know why. And then maybe it's because it gets really cold here and they just be miserable. So I'm like, why are people not nice here?
But sometimes because when I'm like, we speak down here, we speak, we hug, we bump, we do all of that here. We had to we really had to snatch ourselves out when COVID came, because we hug, we always dap up, we love on each other, we kiss on the cheek, all that stuff down here. And then so when I go up north, my friends are always like, will you just stop speaking to everybody? I'm like, what up? And sometimes people will speak back, but they do look like they're surprised. And then you have others who just look at you and keep going, like, I don't know you, so stop speaking to me. And I still be like, hey, what's up? So this dude, his money was hanging out his pocket. And I'm talking about had to be a couple of $100. So I tapped him on the shoulder and said, hey, your money's hanging now.
Oh man,
And
he thought you was trying to take
he was
it.
like, "Oh, bro," and he was like, "No," he was like, "Oh, bro, thank you so much." But the person that I was with was like, "Stop talking to people. Don't say nothing to them. Don't do nothing. Like,
Right.
leave them alone." I'm like, I cannot do this. This man is getting ready to probably lose his whole paycheck. Like, no, you know what I'm saying? That could be a matter of him getting off papers or something, and getting an apartment. If he get mad that I told him that his money. Listen, I had something else to say after that. If he would have got mad, but
Right.
I just wanted to be helpful. So
It's one of those things because up here, like you can be trying to do a good deed and people are flipping into something negative. So it's like, hey man, if your money fall, I don't want you to think I was trying to pickpocket. I was trying to get up in there. No, man. Grace and peace.
I've had the pleasure of working in different parts of the states, and that's so true. I remember when I was covering like both East Coast and West Coast and parts of the South, and just taking flights, I would have to check myself, like, okay, go in here, and you got to have a certain face because they're gonna walk all over you. Just the different cultures that exist amongst the states and outside the states. You have to remind yourself, like Davis was saying, you can't go in here, hugging and calling people baby, honey, sweetie. This ain't the
Right.
South. You call somebody
Right.
baby, honey, sweetie, who you talking to?
Right.
Who wanted you? Like, okay, so hold on, wait. Let me tell you, I was just in Georgia.
See, and they do that down south. Everybody's baby or sweetheart or whatever. But up here, don't call no woman no baby, no sweetheart, honey, any of that. It's those like fighting words. Like, what you call me?
Vegas, they don't even speak to you. When I stayed in Vegas, you would never meet your next door neighbors. You never see them.
What?
Crazy. They'll see
It's
you,
crazy.
just keep looking. Like,
and that's
My
I do
sister
love
actually
that
just
about
moved to Vegas.
I love that about being a Floridian though. Like I love to see people I love interacting with people. And then like I work from home now. So I hardly ever have adult, time. And so when I'm out, I'm like, hey, what up? Like I'm just happy to see adults.
Have to change your whole persona. Absolutely. But now, Javis, it's funny you say that because my favorite vacation spot is your hometown. I love Orlando, Florida.
Orlando?
yeah.
Oh my gosh. But I'm a Disney fanatic too. Like, I think there's no place like Universal. I love Universal Studios. Like, just the 3D rides and the effects, like the time that they put into that place, I think is nothing short of amazing. I really think it's something that everybody should experience in their lifetime. What'd you say?
I live on the property. I live on the property of Universal Studios. That's these kids. They got annual passes, and they literally go 2-3 times a week. Like
that's crazy.
And I won't step foot on it.
Really?
I have no desire for that. Like I'm like, man, I'm 40 now. I don't care no more. I don't want to go.
That's when they say it's the best, though.
I don't want to go on no more roller coasters. I think the thing that happened to me too is when I was in college, I worked for Universal for about 2 years. So I think that was another thing because I went all I could go, and then I skipped all the lines, and so now it's like, I'm not standing in no line to ride no roller coaster. Like,
see, it's not the coasters for me. Like, I think I do like the 3D rides. I love the 3D rides.
I call it like I'm not gonna sit in line, and wait with these commoners. It's like
he'd be walking through the line with his pinky out and stuff.
Not the pinky, Lord, not the pinky.
Right.
Listen, but I be holding my bag, be moving. That's why when I travel, I tell people like, do you have TSA? Oh no, right now you're gonna be in line waiting with the commoners, and I'm gonna just push on through the TSA because I don't wait in line with the commoners. Okay, like those lines are too long.
I gotta have a fast pass. I gotta have a fast pass. I can't stand those long lines.
Just get TSA for like I think it's like 5 years for $89 or something like that.
Oh, the pre-check.
TSA is it, man.
The only airport that it's not worth it, TSA pre-check, the only airport that it's not worth it is the Atlanta airport. You might as well just show up at the time you're supposed to be there. That 2 hours really applies at Atlanta's airport.
That's a huge airport.
It's huge.
Huge.
Even
gotta
New York
ride
had
the
to play.
train. I'm like, what? Why are we riding the train at the
Yeah.
airport? Where are we going? Where are you taking me?
20
Yeah.
stops on the
Right. Then the thing is, you have to like. What's really important to know about Atlanta, though, like, because if you, let's say you got something to do, like if your flight lands at 5 and you got somewhere to be at 6, 86 it because you're not making it.
Yep.
Like, you might as well not plan anything for at least 2 hours, because when you get there, you got to take a train to get the baggage claim. Then it seems like it take them forever to get your bags there. I'm like, man. So when I fly to Atlanta, I have to give myself like 2 extra hours to do anything because it's just not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. But yeah, I love Orlando. I love Universal. I think the shows are super dope. Like even the abbreviated like Disney shows. You know, I be sitting like listening to them like, oh wow, you know, Ursula was real flat tonight. You know, or it's like a real like weird thing. I sit there in the shows and be like critiquing, but I love it. It's real cool. It's my favorite spot. So, Pastor Darlene Bell, I see you. She said, praise the Lord, Pastor Ron Todd and Pew crew. God continue to bless you richly. Likewise. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I want to know, what are some of your viewers, what are your favorite vacation spots and why? So while they're doing that, guys, so when do you like to go on vacation?
I'm kind of like you, Ron. I like to go at the times where no one's really paying attention. So whether that be, you know, going outside the States and you look for those resorts, go at a time where it's on the cusp of bad weather season. You kind of rolling the dice a little bit, but if you get lucky, which I have 9 times out of 10, you end up getting a really cool spot where it's not a whole lot of tourists and nonsense going on, and people that are there to enjoy themselves and not try to link up with other people that are on vacation. I feel like that's the worst thing that can happen on vacation sometimes. When you're there to relax and you run into somebody who wants to find friends, you might have one drink at a bar. Now all of a sudden your friends like, I did not come on vacation with you. I promise you.
Yeah,
I promise you your name was not on the itinerary.
Right. I think, you know, for me, I like to vacation all year, but I think that it's important to take at least 3 vacations a year. I do 4 because I try to make sure that the kids go on at least 2 vacations. But then I just want adults and no kids. I don't want to see kids. I don't want to really talk to the kids. I don't want to hear from the kids. I don't want to read a text or a letter from the kids. No, kids, go away. Nothing. Go away. We got y'all when we get back, okay? But go away. Y'all are in good hands. We left money. We left emergency phone calls. We left all of that. Do not contact us. We are not your parents for a few days.
Well, see, the blessing for you is, I mean, you have one that's still a teenager, but your kids are grown for the most part. So you can kind of like
19 and 19. Yeah, so yeah. But
me and Maurice, we're not quite there yet.
The boys are the worst. All my daughter wants is money. All my daughter wants is money. The boys call. They complaining about this. They mad about this. The white man did this. The school did this. And, you know, just I got pulled over for this and mama tripping about this. And we need some money, you know.
Oh, you know they got to have some money now.
And the daughter, she just like, just give her a little money. She hang out with her little friends. And she's good to go. She's 14. Me and mama had an argument today because baby said she want her 3 Series BMW when she turns 16. So I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea to get her one. Her mama said absolutely not, but she says she need to grow and she need to grow into things. I'm like, that's growing into things. That's my baby. That's my only girl.
No, come on. We all started with the little bucket. You got to get a bucket for the first one. If you ain't cranking it, you didn't have a good first time experience, right?
That's a good one, Kevin.
That's exactly what Dre was saying today. She was like, no, she needs to probably get put down 1 or 2 times and understand that she got to keep trying to crank it up and pour some what she said, pour some Coke on the battery.
Yep.
What?
Character. You get that one flat tire, you'll learn how to change the rest.
Right.
Roll down the hill and pop the clutch.
I tell women all the time, they better learn how to change the tire.
Right.
Listen,
if they're waiting on the man these days to change the tire, they're gonna be sitting there all day long.
Yeah.
I mean, these boys don't want to do nothing.
Tell women all the time, learn how to change.
And it's way easier than women think. I think a lot of people, they think, because, you know, you probably had that guy that you watched do it and he made it seem like he was just so much extra. He was putting all his blood, sweat, and tears into it. And if you've ever done it for yourself, you just crank them, pop those off. It's so easy. You put it on, you go to the next place. And
pull
it's
it
so
off,
much
put it
safer.
on, twist it back on.
She ain't having it.
No.
Nigga said she ain't having it. You know.
Could be one good time where I was young, and my mom had always, I was raised by a single parent, but my mom always made sure we knew how to do like basic things. And I'll never forget, I was living in DC, and if anybody, shout out to DC folks, but if you're driving GW Parkway, which is a really kind of narrow, old school kind of road, but it's a highway, there's not a place to pull off anything. All you can do is go to the next exit and kind of try again. I ended up pulling next to, I hit something and my tire blew. I ended up pulling up next to the CIA Center. So that was my exit. Shout out again, people in DC. But man, I just remember how proud I was that I could change a tire, because ain't nobody finding your body out there.
Right.
It's gone. You're done. And the CIA people, they're not nice. They did not even let me pull off. They were like, you got to keep going. I was like, but I'm going to just, you got to keep going. I'm going to just change this real quick. I'm going to get out of here. I promise you. I'm going to just change it real quick.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you know, it is the CIA. You know, everybody got something against them.
Right.
I'm popping the trunk.
Suspicious. Looks suspicious. Like, why did her tire blow right here?
It did. You know what? It really did. It really did.
It seems like it always blows at the most inopportune time.
Yeah. Yeah, you never
so
really. So
real quick, guys. Oh, there's your daughter. So real quick, guys.
I think.
Oh, he on mute, yeah.
All right, there we go. It's okay.
So real quick, guys, I want to show this clip, and after I show it, we're gonna have a nice little dialogue. Y'all take a look at this.
Our first look at the 12-year-old boy who cops say opened fire at deputies along with a 14-year-old girl. Today he was in court, and considering his age, it's hard to fathom the charges he's facing. Many news outlets have decided to show his face, even though he's a minor, because of the seriousness of the incident and the charges. Les Trent reports.
He looks like he could be in the principal's office for some silly prank at school. But this 12-year-old is in huge trouble with the law.
You're also charged with attempted first-degree murder of a law enforcement officer.
Travis O'Brien and a 14-year-old girl are accused of opening fire on cops during a 30-minute shootout.
Gunshot fired. Everybody get hard cover.
They were coming out to kill cops.
The 12-year-old did not speak during today's hearing, at which the judge referred to him as Mr. O'Brien.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien.
Cops say the boy and the girl ran away from a home for troubled youth. They broke into a house and found 2 shotguns, an AK-47, and a handgun. When cops arrived, the girl reportedly said to the boy, "I'm going to roll this down like GTA," referring to the violent video game Grand Theft Auto.
Shooting out the rear window toward my direction.
Deputies ducked for cover behind trees.
They just busted out the window in the back. Stand by. Female has a shotgun in her hand. Stand by. Put the guns down now! She's got the AK and the shotgun. She's wrapping it around the top of her neck.
Then came the stunning realization that they were being fired upon by children.
Hey guys, just hold behind hard cover. Let's not shoot these kids, man. Let's just hold on. Take our time. 10-4, they're shooting at me. She's re-racking around inside the shotgun. All right, let's not engage them anymore. Let's not challenge them. Just hold behind hard cover. We're just going to hang out here.
You can hear one officer praying it doesn't end badly.
Don't let me do this. Don't do this.
You can hear the restraint of the deputies pleading not to have to use their guns.
Cops say the girl, seen in this photo given to the news media by her father, was shot and wounded when she refused orders to drop the shotgun and opened fire from behind a parked car.
You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, at least 10 bullet holes.
30 seconds later, young Travis O'Brien came out of the house with his hands raised.
They shot through the bedroom window. They shot from the garage door. I mean, this is like Bonnie and Clyde.
Now these juvenile Bonnie and Clyde desperados have to face the music.
You're also charged with attempted first-degree murder of a law enforcement officer.
Okay, so what are the first things that come to your mind when you see this?
Had they been black, they would be dead.
Come on, man. Had they been black, they would have been dead. It wouldn't have been one round of shots. They would have got him.
But I tell you what though, I know Chick Wood, really good. The sheriff there, he is a by the book dude, and which is one of the reasons why Alpha, Phi Alpha, and a lot of us in Daytona really support him. He is fair. He has integrity, and he will do everything and possibly to keep from killing a young person. You know, so he's one of those sheriffs that he's not gonna have it on his force. He will lock his mama up. You know, like he really is that type. So I said that just to say, you know, now I still believe that had they been black little boys, they would have been dead. But I'm saying that I just wanted to kind of put that disclaimer out that Chitwood has really been supportive of the black community in Daytona, and the police chief there in Daytona is a black dude, and one of his white officers was just shot in the head last week by one of our young black brothers, and those are the things that really put us in the bad light. You know, when things like that happen, when we're fighting for the people and we're saying Black Lives Matter and all these different things, and then you have and we just have to kind of keep preaching the message that one bad apple does not represent us, you know, because I think a lot of times that's what they try to generalize. You know, black people are fighting for this, but then the black boys are shooting each other and killing each other. When has gang violence not ever been a problem in white society, black society, Hispanic society? That has nothing to do with, you know, police officers abusing their power, you know. So I think that, you know, they'll always try to flip the conversation to talk about black on black crime, but in the world, white on white crime is more than black on black crime is, you know. So it's a big issue. Crime, violence is an issue regardless of the color. So yeah, that rant. Just say that Chitwood is a real good dude though, and I believe that he has one of my brothers, my frat brothers, is working with their sheriff's office right now, and he's doing a lot of diversity training. So, you know, that could have a lot to do with the fact that their officers and deputies aren't shooting as fast because they're getting the training that makes them more aware of, you know, sometimes our own flaws.
I think you bring up a good point, right? Is that we throw this term diversity around a lot. And I think just to kind of I think it's Kiana, she said it. She said they need a whooping. And that was one of the things I thought too. Like my mom, I wouldn't be alive today. She'd be like, "Oh, you want to play Bonnie and Clyde? Oh, okay." It's like, yeah.
See, those two kids had been in the system for years. They've been it for years, and so they've been back and forth. And one of the things that Chitwood was saying is the judges a lot of times play case manager and case worker and make decisions that affect children, and they're not really thinking about, you know, well, these case workers and investigators are the ones who are out here in the trenches, like really working with these kids, and they know these families. I mean, when I was an investigator with DCF, you know, I would remove the family from a home because the dad is kicking the windows out the car while the family's in the car. Mm-hmm. You know, and when I asked him why is he kicking the windows out the car, he said, with the kids in the car, he said because it's his car. just like
Wow.
like I don't care if the kids in the car. It's my car, so I can kick as much as I want. So I removed the family. The judge, took the safe precautions off within like 2 days, and in 3 days, the family's back in the house with this man again. And so judges play these kind of games politically, and then when a family, something happens with the family, they're like, well, what happened we need to do an investigation of what happened with CPI. And it's like, the judges are playing these games, but ain't nobody gonna really say judges playing the games, because you don't want the judge to be your enemy,
Right.
when you go into court. But I lived it. I had a kid die on my caseload, drowned. The parents were on drugs, on cocaine. I had already tested them. I knew they were on cocaine and different things. And not that people can't be on drugs and still be good parents, because we've seen parents with all types of issues struggle and raise their children. So, but you have a 2-year-old kid who's in a house with a pool, and there's no gate, no safety gate. So at least for me, the kid shouldn't be able to return until you at least get a safety gate, which they didn't. And while they were having a drug party, this baby was under the water for 20 minutes, and so that's how that type of stuff happens. But people don't really talk about it, until they leave. Until they leave investigations.
You're right. People, I think that's the part though. So you said diversity training it before, and I think all of it comes down to really just training, period. Because right now we're putting titles on something because that's the trend. That's the talked about topic, right?
But it should be normal.
Exactly. So my background comes from HR, and I've seen so many diversity and inclusion and been sought out. Oh, can you help us curate a diversity and inclusion program? And if you're doing it now, it's already too late, right? But it comes back to training about everything. And I think even taking it back to the video, it comes back to biasness. I think at the end of the day, we talk about diversity, we talk about inclusion, but no one, to your point, you're talking about Mr. Mays, people don't want to talk about the things that, it's uncomfortable. So what about bias? What about the fact that you are just naturally born with bias? You need to teach yourself how to overcome the bias that you're not going to change, but and have an awareness for it. It's training yourself to do better, right?
Yeah.
But it goes back to
I agree.
too, before you even get hired. I mean, are you doing polygraph tests on these people or what?
Right.
Like, what are we doing? Are you just hiring them and saying you're going to boot camp for 7 weeks and that's it?
Right.
Even look at what they're putting their life on the line for. Talk about 50 to 75K to be an officer, and 75K is in the big, districts. Now I don't know about you, but my life on the line every day is worth a whole lot more than that. So just by the dollar amount, you're lowering the type of quality that you're going to get running these streets.
That's very true.
Yeah. But, and you know what, I was thinking too, which is one of the reasons why I couldn't be a law enforcement, because I think that's very stressful to get out of your car 7 to 8 times a day, not knowing which day it is that you have some crazy food that you walk up on. Which is one of the reasons why I'm like, as much as we got to stand up against law enforcement abusing their power, we also have to celebrate the law enforcement we have, because if anything happens to your house or your car, the first thing you do is dial 911. You know what I'm saying? So do I want more officers off the street? Not necessarily, but I think that I think all law enforcement needs to be trained and need to have mental health sites, every so often, and people just need to be trained right. Like you were saying, Nina, like I shouldn't have to give 3 different trainings so that you treat every person with respect, with decency, with integrity. I shouldn't have to say, well, when you see this black lady here, make sure that you don't use this word here. No, you just need to adopt being professional, and being a little bit more transparent and honest and real. Because if you make a mistake culturally, you can be corrected and still move on and do your job without, professionally. But to have people to always say that, we got to keep doing a bias training and like that's now you're just trying to check off a box that you did this, for limited liability, and like, come on. Just give good training, like you were saying.
So let's get to some of these comments in the chat box. Oh, real quick, Ashley. What's up, Ashley?
Hey, y'all.
How you
So
doing?
good to see you.
I'll see Ashley Friday.
Ashley's
She
getting ready
ready.
for her live recording.
I am. I'm in the middle of rehearsals right now, and it is crazy over here right now. Like, I'm getting so excited. It's ridiculous. But I had to stop in and say hey to my Pew crew.
I bet you are.
What up?
I'm so excited.
Hi, Nina Davis. Hi, Maurice Hopkins. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Ashley. How you
Hey,
doing?
Ashley.
I'm so excited for you, Ashley. So, like, how are you feeling? Are you feeling nerves? Are you just excited? A little of both?
I'm anxious. I'm excited. You know, I really feel like a lot has gone on that just kind of confirms how greatly God is going to move that night.
Yeah.
I'm excited about what's about to happen. You know, I'm excited for people to hear the new music. It's about 4 years in the making, and I'm just elated. You know, I feel like it's going to be even bigger than it was the last time we did it, and the whole band is here now, so everybody is like, it's crunch time now, and so you know that just heightens the excitement. And you know, I'm hearing the band together. It's like a big family reunion all over again. And them. Really, it's just gonna be about them. And I'm telling you, they are really, really singing their heads off. But I feel like it's gonna be really, really cool. It's gonna be different. And I was talking to somebody the other day and telling them, you know, the first one that I did with church in Mobile, Alabama, and it was a bigger thing. But this one is going to be at my home church, which is a little smaller, and won't be as many people. And that almost discouraged me because I didn't want it to seem so much that he has really, really, really shown his hand in all of this, and just confirmed to me that I had to do it at my home church, because that's where I've gotten my upbringing. You know,
Right.
That's where my roots are. This is where my family is. This is where my dad wrote his songs and preached his sermons. My grandfather preached his sermons. So all of that spirit is like literally wrapped around this entire moment. And I'm so amazed and in awe at how much God is really blessing this particular project. I feel like I could be a lot more open at my own church. You know, you can sing at other people's churches and be yourself, but
Right.
there's a certain level of yourself that you kick up a notch when you're at your
Right.
home church.
And it's nothing like
You don't
being
take your
on a
shoes off in
sound
everybody
system
else's
that
house.
you know
But
real
when you get
good.
at home, you know, you can take your shoes off, you can take your weave off.
Ashley, did you hear me?
Exactly.
I said it's nothing like being on a sound system that you know real good.
Yeah. She knows the acoustics in the house.
And they've
Right.
added to it. The guy
You don't
that
have to
comes on
try
here
to
sometimes
adjust
and
by the
calls me
second
this.
song. You come in knowing.
Right. I already know how this is gonna go. So
Right.
it's just gonna be like Sunday morning for me, and that's where I feel most comfortable. And in my, I don't know if y'all can hear them, but they are really, really singing their butts off right now.
That is what's up. I saw some clips that you posted of
Yeah, so
rehearsal,
I'm-
and it was amazing.
It was it's just been it's been really exciting. It's been a great experience. I wanted to kind of take y'all. Do you mind if I take y'all in there first?
Take us.
Can I?
Next time I'm gonna get.
Hey, I'm ready
the
for a
album,
field
Ashley.
trip.
I'm gonna get on it with you.
Take us in. I wouldn't mind a little field trip.
Right. I love Nina.
I feel like all we need is that song. I know what place.
Right.
Trying to start us up. See?
Right.
Yes, sir.
Ron, I'll send y'all a few video clips.
Please do, man. I'm so jealous that you're gonna be there. But if I find any way to get there, I'm coming to your room. So, and I'm gonna take a red eye home.
Just come on. Listen, if you can get there, it's going on.
Ooh,
Yes, sir.
I hear them.
Yes, sir.
Oh, they singing.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, actually, they doing their
sound
good singing.
good.
You hear me?
Ah, man. Ask who's producing this?
The guy that usually comes in and he
Best.
watches the Pew all the time. He calls me Best. He's my best friend. That's the guy that's directing. He's actually producing it along with my dad is executive producing it, and Terrence Ruffin and Mike Burrell are also playing, and they're producing it as well. So,
Gotcha. Oh yeah.
and
2
that's
days,
actually the song
21
that my
hours,
dad
32
wrote.
minutes away from this live recording. Yes, Kobe.
Kobe had that
Ask
countdown.
what's
To the
Ask what's the attire? What's the attire for Friday night?
Listen, anything you can shout in. I
I'm
need
coming
you to
in
be
with
in
my,
your
I'm coming
praise
with my
clothes.
good
I don't
shot.
need
I'm
nothing
coming
to
with my
hold you
good
back.
shouting shoes.
Wait a
coming
minute,
with
because
good
you know
shouting
you go.
shoes.
Wait, you know you going to an apostolic house. Hey, hey!
Listen, right at home. I'm coming in.
You
I'm
coming to
coming
an
in with my
apostolic
good
house
shouting
now?
shoes. That's okay.
And
I got
don't let nothing hold you back.
I got good shoes. I'm coming. Hey, I'm telling
Bless
you.
him.
That's the term
Bless
of the night. I
him.
got good shoes.
I'm gonna have to hire somebody. I'm gonna have to
Good
hire
shoes.
somebody there to videotape Javis when he go in, because I don't want to miss that.
Listen,
Get those
I'm running
shoes.
right to the floor. Listen, just have my
telling
seat up
you.
close, so I won't have to run. So I won't have to run around, cross and jump over everybody.
Kobe said we stomping Friday. I know that's
Listen,
right.
I'm trying to. Let me tell you something. Let me just say this. I've been so. There's been a lot of, with everything that is God ordained, there's going to come a lot of negativity and a lot of attacks, and the attacks have not stopped. But I thank God that He's and I actually got to a point where I was almost afraid to get too excited, because every time I got here, something would hit me and it would bring me right back down. So I felt like my flesh felt like, well, let me just stay here. Let me just be mellowed out and let me be. But I thank God so much for proving to me that He's accountable.
Yes.
People hold us accountable for certain things, but God has shown me that He's accountable. That's why He hasn't given me the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind, because He's accountable for what He promised me He was going to do. Yeah. So He won't let His plans or His word come back to Him void. So that's why I can't allow anxiety. And I don't know who needs to hear this out there. I don't know who needs to hear this in this room, but anxiety cannot overtake your faith.
Yes, God.
There's no way possible that you can hold God accountable to His word and to His promises to you in fear and in anxiety. I have to be able to keep myself at a level of faith in what He promised me that He was going to do, because He's done it before. And so there's no reason why He wouldn't do it again. And so I had to encourage myself and just remind myself of how God has never failed me, first of all.
Never.
And He never will, second of all. And just that, He's faithful to His word and to His promise to me. And I'm not just representing myself, but I'm representing Him. And He ain't going to let me make Him look bad.
Right.
So no weapon that's formed against me is going to be able to prosper. And I have to walk in that. I have to believe that. And I have to stay strong in my faith in that. And I have to stand on that. So y'all just keep me in your prayers. But everybody out there, be encouraged that God is accountable for whatever He told you He was going to do. Yeah. Everything that He promised you He was going to do. Everything that He said He is going to do. He is going to do it, because we hold Him accountable to His word. and his word cannot return to him void. Exactly. He is incapable of of failure.
Ooh.
But he's overly capable of showing his mighty hand.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful to know his capability. I'm happy that he has fought battles for me, that I'm overcoming. Even as I'm talking right now, I feel God allowing me to overcome something. And I'm so amazed and so in awe at what he trusts me with, and what he allows me to be able to share with other people. Like he could have chosen anybody, Ron, but he chose us to do what we do. You know what I'm saying? And I don't take that lightly. I don't care how long I've been doing it. He could have chosen somebody else 2 years before I got here. And carried out whatever it was. But he has a specific plan for our lives. And he's accountable for the promises that he's made to us when it concerns what we do for him. So I'm incredibly amazed at how much he's taken me through all of this. You know, the battles have not stopped, but I know that my God is a conqueror, and he makes me more than a conqueror through him. So my faith is really increased. But y'all just keep me in your prayers, that everything will go well.
You have been
up a good point too,
God has been accountable, but you have been accountable.
Yes.
You've been a good steward over what he's given you. So guess what? That reward is coming.
Ooh.
And Darlene's point, she said, and he'll do it again. And that's a huge part. Don't forget, right? When we achieve those certain statuses, don't forget to give kudos to who it is, because you wouldn't have been able to do it without the power of God within you. So
that's right.
Sometimes people get to a certain level and then they forget, like, oh, I'm now this is all me. Nah, I ain't never been all you.
No.
Ever. I couldn't possibly take credit for it. I'm not strong enough to fight the battles that he's trusted me to fight. And I'm not smart enough to do the stuff that he's done through me. So there's no way possible I can take credit for any of this. I owe it all to God. And to him be all glory and honor and praise. So I'm excited. Javis, I'm so glad you're gonna be there, because I know you're gonna be praying for me. I wish you could be there so bad, but I know you're gonna be praying from afar.
Yes, I am.
I know.
Yes, I am. And I'm gonna be on so many different cameras. And listen here, you gonna think I'm there.
Yeah. But that's the good thing.
And I'm gonna worry the heck out of your dad.
I'm excited. I'm so
What's
excited.
going on? What's she doing? How's it going? He gonna be like, boy, I can't text you right now.
I'm so excited.
And that's the good thing, Ashley. We can always hold God accountable, but the greatest reward is when we can be accountable to him.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And being a good steward over what God has given you, you know what I mean? That's where blessings flow. And you've been doing that. And I'm proud of you. Good job.
Thank you so much.
Get all these snaps.
Right.
Y'all like, hey Ron, they're gonna have me preaching up here. There, you better.
I was feeling it too, Maurice. I was like, hold on now. I feel a shift going on.
Listen, I felt it myself. I was trying to hurry up and move on, but
yeah.
Somebody needed to hear it. That's all that meant. Somebody needed to hear
Renee
it.
Rogers said it right. She says, "We love you, Ashley." Yes, we do.
Hey, Jasanta up here.
Yeah.
I love y'all too.
Friday ain't here yet, man. Right. Well, Ashley, we're not gonna hold you because I know you got to get back in rehearsal. Thank you so much for jumping on. For your Pew fans, you know they be missing you when you're not here.
I miss them. My Tuesdays do not feel right if I'm not on this camera. So I love you guys. Thank y'all so much for all your support. I appreciate it. It was nice seeing y'all, Nina and Maurice. Javis, I love you. Ron, I love you.
Love you.
I'll see y'all next week. Javis, I'll see you on Friday, man.
Go and drink some tea, Ashley. Go drink some tea.
Listen.
Throat coat, ginger root. Look.
Listen.
Get that ginger root. Look.
Listen. It's so strong, it's about to burn a hole in my soul, but I'm going to take it.
All right.
I'm going to take it. I'm going to take all this. Yep.
I know that's right.
But I love you guys.
Love you too. We'll see.
Love you, Ashley.
All right. We had to do that, y'all. But let's back up a little bit because there were some very important comments that I didn't want to move past. So first, let's start with Kevin, who said, "What about systemic racism?"
That's a good one. Going back into kind of just jumping back into that video overall, I think, Kevin, you bring up a good point. Is just overall, when you think of how many things are just put in our way as an additional obstacle course against the things that you're already going against, the system is not even meant for us to pass go. It's not meant for us to continue on.
Right.
It's meant for us to fail, right? But then we jump into this thing where, because we know systemic racism exists, we then justify and excuse our way out of not holding ourselves, back to Ashley's point, accountable. So I think, of course, we know it's there. We know there's bias. We know there's prejudice. We know there's, so much injustice in the world. We know these things. But instead of falling pitfall into it and excusing or justifying what happens to us and saying, what was me?
Right.
What about what you could have done different
Right,
to then mitigate or minimize whatever it was that you fell into? I've been on probation for fighting when I was a kid. And then I got put on probation again because no one told me that I was still, even though I had completed, parts of my probation, I was still on papers. So literally, if we say October 1st was the day I was supposed to get off of these papers, October 2nd was the day that I got put back on probation. And I remember the judge laughing at me and saying, "Miss Davis, if it would have just been one day and you came in yesterday, it would have been blah, 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 blah." And I was a kid. So I'm like, nah, because I completed that back in, blah, blah, blah. No. Like, no one tells you these things as you're going through. Right. You're just supposed to just figure it out. And no matter how much you're paying a counsel or you're Google searching or whatever it is, you got to just figure it out. So when we talk about systemic racism, we know it's there. We know it exists. What can we do? I can't be in control of anything other than myself. I can only control the controllables. I can excuse my way and justify, or I could really be the person that's like, okay, yo, I probably shouldn't walk down this path because that's not going to end me in the right thing. Even the birds of the feather, right? Watch the friends you keep too.
That right.
Helps feed into systemic racism.
Absolutely. Now, Aaliyah says, as long as you can shoot and run, you got the job. And Lady Hawkins said, or a 12 and 14-year-old playing real life Grand Theft Auto.
Real talk, though.
Listen, yeah,
it's just a game.
It's crazy. But and just like what you're saying, if we don't believe that systemic racism is real, we all knew, looking at that video without any one of us even communicating, that had those kids been black kids, they would have been shot. That's just very clear. I mean, you don't shoot at the police, but because they were white, they thought
multiple
twice,
shots, Javis. That wasn't one or two little shots. It was round.
Which lets us know what? They have the capacity to stay within the law. They lose self-control because they don't believe that they have to use it.
Right.
They're not, right. They backed off. The officer was praying and begging. Remember that the boy, please just stop shooting. You think they're gonna beg for one of our kids to stop shooting? And that's one of the things that I'm looking at doing my dissertation on is the fact that black kids are always treated like adults when white kids are treated like kids.
Yeah.
We adulthood our kids so fast, and we give them penalties as adults, but white kids get that slap on the wrist. Now, Johnny, you go home and you don't do this anymore, and we're going to give you some diversions, and we're going to wipe this clean because we don't want this to affect you when you got to go to college. But then you have Lamarvell who got into a fight at school, defending him, still a kid, and he's in middle school, right? But he has this referral that is on his record, and when he gets ready to send his transcripts to college, they can see that he had a referral for fighting. So now he's looked at and targeted as, oh, he's a violent young man, he's a violent young black man. And like you said, we have to position ourselves to break systemic racism. Like, I'll tell every parent, you have the right to go up to the school and say, I just want to see everything that's in my child's file.
Absolutely.
What my white My wife is a principal, right? So she has access to the school's files because she has her own school. So one day she just happened to look in Jordan's file before he was 18 in 12th grade. And so she just happened to look his file to see what's in it. And she saw that there was a referral from middle school that neither one of us signed. Well, you can't have a referral in their file if the parents didn't sign, because that means that you didn't make contact with the parent. So
Right.
she called the school and knew the other principal, and she said, do you have this AP with you still? And he said, yes. She said, I need to speak with him. She said, because he has a referral in my child's file 5 years ago that doesn't have my signature, and I need to know why. Because I need that to be removed before today is over with. You know, but if we don't have the knowledge to know, a lot of our issues is we just don't know. You know, we aren't aware of what's going on, and we don't have anybody who really comes and say, hey, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. So, you know, I with me mentoring so many young Black boys, I tell their parents all the time, I don't care if he had 5 referrals or if he had 10. I want you to go to the school and look at your son's file, and anything that does not have your signature on, make them move it off your child's file. Because you'd be surprised how many of our kids have been in ISS and been suspended, but of course they didn't come home and tell you because they don't want to get in trouble. So you don't even know what's in their file because they've never contacted you. And many of those parents don't have so they went ahead and gave your child ISS, never contacted you, but your child been in ISS for a whole week. And of course, he's not going to tell you because he don't want a whipping. But when he gets ready to apply for the military or college, all of that is following him.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Same thing with positive things too, right? There's a lot of times where your kids are in schools and they're getting achievements, they're getting awards, and somehow those things aren't making it or aren't notated in the file. So you have these kids where they're getting to applying for colleges or something like that, and they're writing about something that is easily credibly traced, but because, you know, teacher was a little lazy because they're over here trying to kiss Johnny Walker's butt, but they weren't really caring about the underprivileged youth. Johnny Walker's family padded his file with all the things that they specifically wanted to be in there so he can go off to this golf resort, whatever, study abroad. But now you have the opposite end of the spectrum where, well, their parents weren't as involved. And you don't have to be overly involved as a parent. You just have to. My mom used to put the fear in a lot of our principals. Again, single parent, doing her thing, working multiple jobs. But they knew when she showed up to that school, it might have been once a month, once a quarter, once a year. They knew it was on. Everybody.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I like,
you know, and that's the thing too.
I want to see the outcome. What sentencing guidelines the judge uses.
Yes.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, it's always in ranges. So those sentencing guidelines are always in ranges. So
it can be in the range from 5 years to 15. And he chooses 15 for predominantly Black boys or Hispanic boys, but he's choosing the 5 for, you know, LaJohnny again, you know. And I mean, please don't be offended if your name is Johnny on here, but I know,
I'm sorry, Johnny.
You know, I kind of associate the name Johnny with the other persuasion at times. But yeah, I think that's a lot of the stuff that our people just aren't aware of, that a lot of those transcripts that are padded because, you know, Johnny usually goes into the school where his family lives in that same community. And so his mom has tea with his teacher, you know, and with his principal. They all associate together and they live in the same communities. And so what we've seen Orange County doing now, Orange County is sending principals outside of their communities and are trying to send teachers outside of their communities as well, because now you have it where when you could choose a child's teacher and choose a child's administrator and choose everything about your child's education, and then what you have now is discrimination and targeting when you're putting those other little kids who don't matter, like ESC kids who need a plan. You put all 10 of them in a class, and the teacher just feels like, well, their test scores aren't going to really count anyway, so we're going to just give them coloring and keep them moving while we're over here making sure that Johnny excels and prepare him for, you know, SAT at 8th grade, you know, and so, you know, we have to be aware of that. And one of the things that my wife said to me all the time, she said, it's not that Black people don't care. A lot of times when you're looking at 8 to 5, they're working. They're trying to, you know, this mom who's trying to take care of her 3 kids by herself, and she can't afford to take off to come because Johnny just got in trouble at school, because she coming to the school may mean that they got to have lights off. You know, all these things that are troubling her. But you got Johnny who's living with mom and dad, perhaps in the same community, you know, pulling up in, you know, the BMW. Why you got LaRicky who's probably riding the bus into the community, and mom can't see him until 7 at night because she's working all day, you know. And so that's why we need mentoring. That's why we need, because we need to have those positive individuals who let our kids know that just because you don't see that now doesn't mean that you can't have that. It's discouraging when you see kids, you know, and we didn't really think about it because half the time, you know, as a kid, like, we didn't have a whole lot of money, and my dad was a teacher, and my grandma was a teacher too. We didn't have a whole lot of money, but we knew how to stretch, and we didn't tell our business. And when you came outside, you know,
knew how to stretch, knew how to
grease on your head,
rotate them outfits,
make sure that shirt is
pants, different shirt.
I think the thing you forget about too is the community part of it, right? So I come from a military family. My mom was one of 10. They all went into the military to escape where they came from and try to, you know, start their future better. And so when she finally got out and she was in places, she didn't have the resources to kind of build that. But to your point, you know, growing up the way we did, your neighbors, sometimes you had that one lady that always sold either the chipped ice.
Miss Emma Jean.
Yep. She showed some bag of chips. She had them fruit snacks,
ice cups,
or whatever it was. You knew you could go to the candy lady for whatever it was. And you do something wrong over
Miss
there.
Maddie.
It's still making it to your mom. The next time she gets off, the next time your dad gets off. So I heard what you did the other day. You thought you was gonna get away with that? Like, dang, everybody always telling everybody's business, but it was for a different purpose, right? To keep kids together and to keep kids growing up the right way. Now, people, you know, to your point, will stand behind and record something before they do anything else. She said the cold sodas, yes. Like, and somebody said earlier, you know,
pickle sausage.
Oh yeah.
You had to think about, like I remember getting in fights, and my mom would always ask, well, you know, of course I still got in trouble, but she said, did you win? Let me lose a fight. Oh, that's a second butt whooping.
Yeah, you probably got beat up again. You got beat up again. Absolutely. You know, and it was 3 of us. It was 3 of us, so we fought together anyway, because it was like if one get beat up, all 3 of y'all better get beat up. But and Miss Emma Jean sat in her window on the 2nd floor, and she watched the whole day outside. She didn't move. And we lived next door to her. Miss Maddie was across the street, and she sat on the porch all day, and she watched. Both of them sold the snacks and, you know, different things. But Miss Emma Jean would when my mom got off, when we got out of school, it was like 2:30. Mom didn't get off until 5 o'clock. So guess what? When the bus dropped us right in front of the house, Miss Emma Jean knew that we were supposed to go in the house, clean up, do all of those things, and not come outside until Mama got home. Go out that door, go out the back door. Try it if you want to. Miss Emma Jean told Mama.
Oh yeah.
And that was.
And then looked at you the next day like, what? What you gonna do about it?
I wish you would get disrespectful because I'm coming down at you, right? And you know, just thinking about that now, I look at my kids. We don't know any of our neighbors. You know, I miss that. It was a safety in that. You know,
everybody looked out for each other.
Yeah, we had such strong women in our community too, and Miss Maddie, Miss Margaret, Miss Sally, Miss Ruth Ann.
There's always a Miss Sally.
Yep.
Yeah, all of them are dead now. All of them.
But their legacy still lives on through you even telling the story.
My mom did it.
We had a lady on my street who would tell us,
it's just like, you know,
it's time to get in the house when my mom was working late, and we could only be outside if that lady was home. Oh yeah.
Read it one more time.
She said, we had a lady on my street who would tell us that the street lights were on. It's time to get in the house. And when my mom was working late, we could only be outside if that lady was home. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's how it was.
Absolutely.
There was always somebody running
Absolutely.
the whole neighborhood, that whole block.
Yep.
Running it.
I remember
Miss Emma
we
Jean.
used to have this guy. He was a military vet, but he was disabled, so he would always roll up and down the street in a wheelchair. And it's funny how you know, a lot of times you see people look at disabled people and give them, oh, whoa, you know, oh my gosh, like what happened, and give them that kind of sympathy. He was running the street like you knew you better move out of the way if he's wrong with his wheelchair, because he ain't gonna stop and he's gonna get you from, you know, hit you, roll you over, whatever it is. But he was such a nice person. And, you know, you just think like we were really ran by a guy in a motorized wheelchair parts of my childhood growing up. So you play outside, and if you went outside the bounds, he would roll up and you would hear it and all the kids would just run. But we were ran by a disabled man in a wheelchair. So it's like the neighborhood would come together for sure. Kevin, what do you say?
Kevin said, I couldn't understand that. You got in trouble for fighting, but since you did decide to fight, you should have won the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, guys, because our time is really getting away from us, I want to answer at least a few questions tonight, because, you know, it's good that we talk and have a good time, but we want to help people as well. That's our whole objective. All right. So I want to, real quick, let's get a couple of our questions in today, and let's start with this first one here.
Hi, my name is Dave. Should dogs be able to sleep in the bed with their owners?
Did y'all catch that one?
Should dogs be able to sleep in the bed with their owners?
Yes.
I am
have a dog.
definitely against it, only because I was raised that dogs are too, they so warn us, Ron. I was raised that dogs are supposed to protect you. So dogs are supposed to be in areas to notify you, give you an alert, chew somebody's arm, leg, throat out. So a dog sleeping in the bed, he done forgot his place in the household. That's just me.
What you think, Javis?
I have a dog, and we've always had dogs, and absolutely not. I don't even let my dog sit in my chairs, on my sofas. I'm just not with it. Like, no, you be licking all day and all that. No.
I let my dog pretty
Get on
much
up, listen.
go everywhere.
No. But we do have dog beds for them. They have their own bed, their own furniture. But no, I don't want you in my bed and on my couch. No.
I cage my dog. People say that I shouldn't, but I do. I cage my dog at night because she always gets into stuff. And I don't know if she be mad because she eats real good, but
that's probably why.
But at night, she be chewing up stuff. She be scratching stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? So I just put her up in her cage. But I think I get what you're saying, Kevin. He said that's a personal decision. It is a personal decision. I think everybody kind of, I don't know.
To each his own, right?
To each his own.
Kevin,
Absolutely.
you let your dog sleep in the bed with you?
Not even lay in the bed, not even get on the bed. And she knows if she has been in my bed.
But do you pick your dog up and stuff?
No.
You don't pick your dog up?
They got 2 more legs than you do. What you picking a dog up for?
I always pick my dog
around.
But see, I don't have to do that with Daisy. I'd be like, Daisy, come here. Daisy comes. I say, Daisy, go sit down. Daisy, go sit down. I'd be like, bedtime. Daisy goes to bed. Like, we don't have all that drama. No, you're
okay, next question. We got to move.
Mm-hmm.
Next question.
How do we break the barrier of church folks not growing and evolving with us? It seems like no matter how well you try to do and be involved in the church world, some people will always see you as the old you was 15, 20 years ago. They don't grow with you, therefore causing to be stagnant, therefore making you feel like, why do I even try, or why should I even go?
That's a toughie.
That is because, the first thing I think of when I hear a comment like that is, who are you really there for? And who are you trying to prove yourself to, right? Not everybody wants to see you win. So are you there for yourself to prove what you need to for yourself? Because we can't change your mindset on, or you can't change anybody's mindset on what they think, feel, or whatever it is. All you can do is just be true to your character and be there for yourself, right? But that's a hard one. What do you guys think?
I agree with you. You know, it's with the who are you there for? Not only that, you have to know who you are. You know, people will do that. That's why I don't really care for that song. I have to look back and wonder how I got over. I don't have to look back and wonder nothing. I know how I got over, and I know who got me over. You understand what I'm saying? And so I understand, like, because I try to move in a forward motion. I don't need you to remind me of who I was and where I came from, you know, because that's not where we at right now. That's not what we're doing. You know, it's all about the current. And I think it's a time and a place when it's okay to reminisce about things that may be like humorous and things of that nature. But if I'm a recovering alcoholic or a recovering drug addict, but I've been free for the last 10 years, you don't have to keep reminding me about how I used to be so crap-faced out my mind and falling over, you know. And so we have to learn how to kind of be very strong and authoritative when it comes to those type of conversations and say, listen, you know, God has brought me from a mighty long way, and I'm very clear on where he's brought me from. I don't need to rehash it. And it's like, if they can't respect that, then you got to fade them to black. Because a lot of times what I think is a trick of the enemy to try to pull you back. Because sometimes in those conversations, what it does do is remind you of how good the times were. Because let's be clear, people try to act like sinning is horrible. No, sinning is good. It feels good. It looks good. It smells good. All of it, you know, it comes across to your flesh as good. And so when people remind you of those situations, it's just like, yeah, remember when you was with Sister Sally and I used to see y'all would be on the corner kissing. The first thing you think about is how you had never been tongued down like that. Your mind hadn't even gone there until they brought it back up. You see what I'm saying? You know, remember how that felt and all that.
That's
and
true,
so
Ryan.
it's making you revert.
That's true. I was thinking, matter of fact, I was walking the dog today, and I was just meditating and praying while I was walking, and I don't know why that this came on me so strong. The Lord was telling me about he's not asking for us to give him things. He's asking for us, you know. And he started reminding me about it's difficult for you to give me those struggles, issues, and fears and worries and all those things when you don't give me you. You know, you're trying to compartmentalize what you give me, but then you want to. There's some things that we've given up. We don't even care. We don't have a desire for it. That's not the fight. The fight is when you have to give up those things that you held on to for dear life, that you were in love with, that you struggled with. And so then when you finally made a decision to give God everything and to get rid of that and to leave that in the past, now you have to deal with someone reminding you of how condemned and convicted you were all the time. Like, no, you're not going to keep reminding me of my past because you don't know what I had to go through to get that up.
You know what? You bring up a good point, though. That's a solid point. And maybe that's the answer to this question at the end of the day is every time somebody's trying to condemn you, and Kevin said, you know, you're right, Ron. He said some church folks will condemn you to the point of sending you backward, therefore, and it's very sad. But maybe that's the answer to it. Every time they're trying to send you backwards and they're having the conversation of, oh, yeah, remember when you used to do that? Oh, yeah, remember what you do? You combat that with, and let me tell you some of the things I've done since then. And you find three highlights of like, boom. So you want to keep talking about the past. Let's talk about the present. Let's talk about how much change and how much I've overcome since then.
Let me tell you how powerful God is. That he would bring me from there to here. I don't even know how I got here. You know,
and keep in mind, most of us are the bloodline of those sinners, those prostitutes, those. So while we're sitting here condemning one, keep in mind where you came from, whether it's in present time or centuries ago. Let me tell you what I have done, and to your point, what God has brought me up through. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, we can be the greatest accusers anyway, and that drives me nuts. It's just, okay, we got to move. We got two more questions, and we're out of here. I don't mean to rush us, guys, but we really got to go.
It's good. It's good.
Okay. Right, Yvette Brown. That's Satan trying to keep you down. Period. All right. And here we go.
My question is in regards to BET Awards that I watched the other night, and Lil Nas kissed and French kissed another man. And I'm wondering what the difference is and why there's so much hoopla around it versus when Madonna kissed Britney Spears, another woman. There's a lot of talk that I've noticed today for the last couple of days actually about it, and no one is saying anything about the women kissing. I just want to know what the paradox is, or what is the difference, or what is the issue. If it was okay for that, why is it not okay for the guys? Is it a race thing? Is it a male versus female thing? What is the difference? What is the cause? What is the case? My question for those that are complaining in America, why are you complaining?
Ooh, well, I
He
think
hit it.
Right. I think you answered it in your question.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about two Caucasian females of very high status. Madonna can do what she want to do. We done seen Madonna naked. We done seen Madonna allegedly. We've seen her allegedly in wedding dresses. We've seen Madonna do everything under the sun. Madonna, that's not going to harm Madonna's career. Britney Spears has cut all her hair off and been bald. She has, allegedly done a lot of different things. That's not going to hurt her career. Right. Yeah, it's not going to hurt her career. But you're talking about a very new artist who happens to be an African-American male who is kissing another African-American male on an African-American based show. So first of all, I want to be very clear because I don't think people realize this, but people are still not really happy all these years later about the whole BET movement. I still hear people saying, why is it important for you all to have a black entertainment television? You're saying that you want to be inclusive, but yet you create a platform that's supposed to be for you, by you. Well, I'm inclined to believe that the platform was created because it's never been fair. It's never been fair. So this award show creates a way to celebrate our own. And I mean, I've always thought of MTV as the other side of it. Now, mind you, there's a sprinkle of color that we're seeing now, but for the most part, I feel like
there's a sprinkle of them exploiting Black culture in a negative light. That's what I see more so from MTV. This is the thing. It's never going to be socially acceptable, and not just in white conservative circles, but I've said this over and over again. Black people are way more conservative than people think they are.
Oh yeah.
So there are times when you see two black men on BET kissing, there's going to be outrage because a lot of people just don't want to see it, even though they know it's a reality. They know it's out there. They don't want it to be almost like the banner of Black entertainment. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that and I think we've done it to ourselves. It's either we're showing Black homosexuality as a banner, or we're showing Black drug dealers and Black non-supportive fathers. And I think that those things aren't really the issue. It's just that we don't show enough of the positive in our community. Right. And so I think that, does that have to be a negative, those two black men kissing? You can't judge the world.
Right, you can't judge the world on it, but Kevin brings up, and this is what I think is kind of the point that we're missing, is it is a double standard, but keep in mind that two females kissing, black, white, whatever, is more of a social fantasy, socially accepted fantasy.
Oh,
Two
yeah.
males kissing is not a socially accepted fantasy.
And it's
So
demasculated.
then you
It
can
is
add
to
the
the
race
black
and you can
man.
add everything else on top of that. But it starts with,
I agree.
we've created a culture where, ooh, two females kissing, ooh, you got to stop and look. And that's the stuff.
That's hot, you know.
Yeah.
And not only that, but a man would take that and run with it. You know, it's like, hey, you know. But if you see two dudes doing this, you know, not only are men looking at them like this disgusting, but then you have the women saying, dude, like, bro, and y'all wonder why we can't get husbands out here, blah, 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 blah. You know, the men after each other. So, you know, where does that leave the black family? You got all these different issues that take place. Well, this is the reason why we have so many black boys going to jail, the pipeline to prison. The dads aren't involved. The dad's out chasing another dude. The mom's being a single mom, raising by herself. All these different stories start, and they're like you said, they're thrown on top of the first issue. Is that you know? So it's like it keeps piling on.
Like Tetris.
Yeah. But see, I feel like we've seen Caucasian males embracing and doing different things, and it hasn't. I mean, because there are many very openly homosexual, you know, Caucasian male artists, Adam Lambert, you know, and I think that it hasn't been a big deal, but this Little Nas thing seems like it's been just the talk of the news.
Because of just he creates controversy, and you know, in show business, if you're not being talked about, good, bad, or indifferent, then you ain't really any part of it. And so, thinking about how he came into it, remember he was just a rapper first, regular old black African American rapper. Then he added on the component of, okay, guys, I'm gay and I'm going to be openly gay, and everybody said, so okay. Then he added on, we'll say the Enemy video that he came out with. You know, I never watched it, but
and then it was the Nike shoe thing.
Then the Nike shoe thing. He just keeps playing it because he's okay, and maybe it's strategic for him. You know, maybe all of this is just a strategic move so he could get his money, and when he's ready to just sit back, he could be like,
because he has such a huge following. You know, and a huge following of young people who spend more money on music than any generation now, you know. So he's like, yo, I'm focusing on getting my paper right now, and I'm not, and I don't care who used me to get it at this point. You know, it doesn't matter.
You're gonna hate me anyways. Haters are gonna be out there, right?
Yeah.
Ali said the big question is, why are we not supporting the LGBT community, right?
Is it not okay? Is it not? Is it okay not to support the LGBTQ community?
I feel like that's a personal choice. Going back to kind of like dogs sleeping in the bed, not the same thing, right? But that's a personal choice. I think that when we put and we categorize and we say LGBTQ, Z++, and all this, there's certain, even within that community, that would say, well, I mess with this letter, but I don't mess with that letter, or this letter is that, and And, you know, even communities and cultures amongst it, it's up to you.
Let me put it to you like this when it comes from my perspective. Our job as Christians is to love everybody, not to judge them. Why? Because sin doesn't have a category, and we all die to our flesh daily. So I can't say that I go a day without sinning. And so my sin in an LBGTQ, RSTUZ, whatever, is any worse than theirs. You understand what I'm saying? I don't have the capacity to judge anybody because I'm not perfect. Only Jesus is. Therefore, my job is to love everybody, period. And I think that's what a lot of people in Christendom are missing, because they become, sorry, it was like a fly. What they're missing is that, you know, they become so puffed up and so arrogant and so prideful and hateful within their Christianity that they think that they have room to judge anybody. You know, they think they're so holier than thou and they're so right, and they don't realize that their judgmental spirit makes them a sinner.
Yeah.
You bring up such a good point. I think a lot of times people forget that when you're looking at social media or whatever it might be, you're looking at, just think of it as a pie. There's pies with filling, substance, and there are pies without filling, and some of them look just as good on the outside. And I think that people forget about the part of you having an excellent spirit is you having substance to the character in which you are. So if you are a good person, no matter what race, creed, sexuality, religion, you're just a good person. So start with the substance within first before you could even move to the other parts and be judging people for anything else.
Right. Kobe says we beat up on our own culture more than the other culture does. Whether the Caucasian people accept homosexuality people or not, they don't speak as bad as we do on our own culture. Yikes. Kevin said black people become very conservative when it comes to their own. They tend to let other ethnicities live and let live. Aaliyah Essence says, but when you don't, you're the worst person in the world. Aaliyah, are you saying when you don't support the LGBTQ population? Kevin Moore says, right, Kobe, I just made a smaller comment. Yeah. I mean,
I think this, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I've
Go
been
ahead.
in a lot of different communities and I've supported a lot of different communities just because of the type of work that I do. Same with Mr. Mays, we're out there being mentors, coaches, cheerleaders, helping people find internships and apprenticeships. And so being a connector within the community, I almost see where, honestly, from, and I know this is not everybody's same walk of life, but living in different cities and states, I feel like I also have a good kind of data pool to pull from, where I see amongst our African American community, we're more accepting, our families are more accepting to some children coming out and, saying this is my lifestyle or this is how I want to be or I've discovered along the way than a lot of other races are. And I don't know if that just comes with who we are as a culture. And I know that, every community, every home is different. Don't get me wrong. I'm not speaking for all, but I've seen where there's a lot more embrace within our African American community because I feel as though we've gone through so many trials and tribulations that may not relate to that, but we've been hated on. We've been discriminated against. And I feel like our community and our families are more open and receptive to receiving or at least tolerating maybe is even the right word, right? Maybe they don't like it or they don't want to support it, but they'll tolerate it until you say something disrespectful.
Yeah.
Whereas other families
also
just flat out no.
I think this too. I think that a lot of times people are way more judgmental and harsh on things that don't affect their family yet. For parents who have been so disrespectful or harsh on their friends, on their children's friends or some family friends or family members, and then all of a sudden they found that it's sitting right in their house. And now all of a sudden you have to deal with it. You have to not just think about it, but you have to deal with it. It's sitting in front of you. How do you deal with it now? And our children have a way of making us open our eyes and have a little bit more mercy and to be a little bit more love, not just I love you, but no, you have to become love. You understand that you have to become acceptance and so that's for people who now when you say I don't support LGBT or LBGT, whatever. Anyway, I believe that I don't think that you necessarily have to get on a bandwagon to support a movement.
Right.
I could love you. I can care for you. I can treat you like a human being, like I'll treat anyone else. I don't necessarily have to agree with you, but guess what? You don't have to agree with me. And we still should be able to treat each other like with decency and
right.
Yeah. It's over 7 billion people in the world. We're not always going to agree, and that's okay. That's why we're uniquely different. I think that we have to stop making everything a church issue or a spiritual issue. My spiritual walk is different than yours, and I should be able to love you and see you as a person and not always see people through my religion or my spiritual beliefs. Like that's personal for you. That's not for them, And so I think that when we get to that place and we just accept people and love them, I think if we're preaching, that's Jesus, not with words, but how you treat one another, and then people will say, well, something's different about him. I've never seen it. Usually people are judging me or treating me wrong, whatever. people need love. They need acceptance and not have to always feel rejected because you feel like you're so spiritual high. When you probably
Right.
not. You got some things going on too. So
I remember
Exactly.
I had a mentor that always just told me at the end of the day, we are all humans, humaning amongst other humans.
Yes. That's it.
oh,
Okay, guys, real quick, we got one more question and we out of here. Here we go.
Hey y'all, it's me, Tracy. I hope everybody's doing good. But listen, this is my question, y'all. I'm a little disturbed because, I do laundry for me and my husband. But tell me why I've been doing his laundry, and over the last couple weeks, I've been seeing these white skid marks right in the front of his underwear. And so naturally, I question him. And I'm like, boy, what is these skid marks doing in your underwear? And he told me he a man. And he gets excited or whatever. And when he gets excited, it be like pre-ejaculation or whatever,
Ron, I gotta go.
But I mean, it seemed like quite a bit of pre, if you ask me. But I'm not a urologist. That's why I'm gonna ask my babies on the pew. What y'all think? Because
Okay, I had to just cut her off. Okay.
This one's for you, Ron. I think this one was for you.
So I mean, the thing is that it is a such thing, ma'am. You not crippled or crazy. There is a such thing as pre-ejaculation or whatever, but how much is you thinking all day to where when you come home you have that much residual in your underwear?
He cheating. Like, God, come on, Ron. He cheating. All right, that's the end of that story.
No,
He is
need
cheating.
to go to the doctor.
He is cheating. That ain't no doctor.
Well, what would the issue be?
He cheating. Okay.
Kobe gonna say it's the underwear.
I like somebody said, you don't ever give us a warning. We need warnings.
But she has a question every week, and Tracy, we don't mind. It's okay. You can answer as many questions. As you know.
I love it. I love it.
But okay.
Tracy, tell him to go to the doctor.
And you go with him. And you explain to the doctor exactly what's happening. That when you do his laundry, you're seeing white skid marks in front of his underwear, and you see what the doctor tell you. Because if he don't have some kind of issue, but my thing is, what issue would cause you to come on yourself?
All right. Good night.
I mean, I don't.
Mina, it was so nice meeting you.
It's nice meeting you guys as well. So I hope I could meet you guys in person. Kevin has some stuff on there too, but no, I really love it.
There are still young Black gay people who are condemned to hell by the church.
Mm-hmm.
These same young people become traumatized and develop low self-esteem.
You know what though? But you know what though? That is true. But it's not just young Black. It's white. It's Hispanic. It's Indian. Gay isn't limited to color. There are people that are hurting because they're rejected from people who don't understand who they are or who just refuse to accept who they are. And the bottom line is that, literally murdered. And the bottom line is we should be smart enough now to just know better. Just to know better. Like, just stop. You're hating people just because you want to hate, and that's when someone is that hateful, that's the problem that they have. That's not your problem. For anyone who's on here who's dealing with rejection, please understand that when someone has that type of behavior, that's an issue that they have. That's not your issue. Love yourself, and get away from anybody who would make you question and hate yourself. Get away from them. That's the totally disrespectful and unhealthy relationship. Get as far as away from them as you can. Seek counseling and build yourself up so that you can be bold enough to love you and be beautiful as you are, and know, live life. Life is big. You know, I don't want anybody to feel like they have to walk through life miserable and hating themselves. Like, man, love yourself. Whatever.
And not only that, I mean, gay is, gay, LBGT, we talk about it as if it's a new thing, like it's something that just came out yesterday. People been doing that for years and gonna be doing it, and I see Yvette's comment says, I think we should get a little break though. Some things are kept to yourself. Now, I think that's something that, especially 20, 30 years previous, there were a lot of things that people did kind of keep to themselves. They had a little more pride about themselves, literally pride,
yes,
but not pride like in this way. Whereas now it's like, live and let live and everybody just do and see. But, again, that's just like if a transgender come into your church, or even if they haven't had any, transitional thing, they could just have on a wig and have facial hair like me and have on press-on nails. You still have to love on them. You can't make faces at them. You can't be sniggling in the sidebar about them. You cannot do it because they're people, they're God's people. God created them just like he created us. And I think it's very immature, and I think it's very sad that we still have to have conversations telling people that our job as Christians is to still love people wherever they are. Because a lot of us, even people that grew up in church, we didn't always come to church all together. We came a wreck. We came as, coming from the club last night, hungover, and eating some tomato juice. We came looking who we could scout out and was sleeping with every skirt in the church. We came with all kinds of issues and baggage. But yet, here we go again. When we halfway got ourselves together and we could put on a 3-piece suit, we feel like we can look down on somebody else because of their proclivities. We got to stop that, man. Like, we got to just learn how to do like God does. He loves us unconditionally. He loves us even when we don't deserve to be loved. So we have to do people the same way. No matter what their issue is, what walk of life they choose, because guess what? You don't have to lay in bed with them. That doesn't mean that you got to walk around with rainbow t-shirts on, going to all the conventions and the whatever. It just means that you love them for who they are, and, they love you, and that's who we are. We're Christians.
And keep in mind that Jesus comes in many forms, right? So when he's coming to you, he's speaking through different vessels. He's speaking to you through different things.
Right.
So the ones that you're condemning, and listen, there's been a lot of times where I've seen people ruin their future chances because in this one moment, they chose to show an ugly character. And then later in life, they ran into that person they chose to be ugly to, and now they need something from them. So if you're just walking through life and again, just being a good character, dealing with people, keep in mind, Jesus and God, they talk to you differently. You might hear it through a different vessel. It might look a little funny, but it might be a test for you too.
That's right. Now, Kevin, Yvette was talking about Tracy, but I like your comment. He says, with all due respect, this is part of the problem. Sweeping things under the carpet and not addressing the pink elephant in the room. Wow.
You know what? One of the things I say to people when I minister to them is simply this, especially when you're ministering to someone who doesn't know the Lord or who may not necessarily have that type of relationship. It is that they need to understand that Jesus is not mad at them.
No.
Okay. If Jesus is mad at anybody, it's us. The ones who name his name and we act like idiots, and we don't show his character when we say that he's that he's the Lord of our lives. That's who he's angry at. Think about when Jesus went into the temple and kicked the temple over. No, he was angry with believers. He's not angry with you who's living your life out in the streets doing whatever. But what he does say about you is that all souls are mine. So it's not I'm not your father. I'm not your savior. I'm not your redeemer. I'm your brother. That's the way I should be presenting myself. I'm your brother here on earth. I'm here to be your friend, to show you an example of Jesus in the earth, not preach to you, but show you an example by the way I live and by how I treat you. To me, that's the biggest testimony that we know Jesus, not me coming to you and trying to debate you about who you are. That's not my job.
Right.
And not only that, my thing is grow up, people. Stop acting like when you see somebody different, if they look different, if they act different, stop treating them like they got the bubonic plague. You understand what I'm saying? Like you can't catch anything from them. But what, Javis?
He said, "Grow up."
I'll be so serious.
Grow
And they
up.
be laughing at me. Nina.
And got close to the camera too.
Bubonic plague.
But it's
I'm
so
serious.
true.
They act like if you walk by them, like something gonna jump off on you and give you cooties. It's like, relax. They just people, just like you.
Yep.
You know, and my thing is, if you have that much concern about being around them, maybe you need to check your card, because maybe you're dealing with something. Because I'm very confident around anybody at any point, because I know who I am. Point blank. Period.
There you go.
I tell you that right now.
It's the line between love and hate. Okay, so that is a very strong statement that I think a lot of people don't really psychologically think about. Love and hate is not like this. It's right here together. It's right here together. So sometimes when people have so much hate about something, they need to really question why they hate it. Like, what is the connection that makes you hate it so bad? Maybe it's because you love it. Oh, okay. I'm just trying to help somebody get healed tonight.
A lot of times it comes from childhood things too, right? You got to deal with childhood traumas when you're over there hating on
Absolutely.
That's a lot of childhood things that are going on.
A proponent of counseling therapy. Listen,
All day,
go sit on the
yes.
couch and talk about it.
Yes.
Get over it so you can live life to the fullest, so you can embrace love and enjoy life and enjoy whoever you are and whoever you want to be. Like get help and sit in your truth and be happy, blossom. Like, this world too big to be, dumbing down yourself to issues that you have when you have the opportunity to overcome those things, so.
Right.
I like how you said that, like dumbing it down, because people oftentimes minimize or make themselves smaller in spaces. Feel space. Feel that space.
Absolutely.
Right.
With your
I love
energy,
that.
with your
I
persona,
love
whatever.
that.
Feel that space. Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna use that. Feel that
Yeah.
space. Like, yeah.
Don't dumb it
Don't dumb
down.
it down. No, feel that space. That's good.
Hey,
That's
Maurice just
good.
texted me, guys. We give him a pass. It was his first time and his phone died. He's like, do I get back on? I'm like, no, we about to go. So, but listen, thank you. By the time you get on, we'll be gone.
Nina, it was so good meeting you.
The
Yeah.
pleasure is all mine. I'm getting ready to throw an event in a couple of months that just really gives people the opportunity to have not only an exposure, but a networking opportunity in the city of Detroit. More details to come. I'll send everything over to Ron, so he'll have all the details and everything like that.
coming.
Ron's partnering,
I'm
so
coming.
it's a really great opportunity just to allow, again, you're looking for transformation in your career or looking for a mentor or a coach, whatever it is. This is a really great opportunity to get out there, put on, look good so you can feel good while you're out there networking. I'm going to have a bunch of just different executive panels from different industries, from culinary, IT, service industries, just really getting out there and having an opportunity. We need it now more than ever. And why not make our time impactful? Because if you ain't having fun, you doing it wrong. I promise you.
Right. That's right. I'm
Absolutely.
excited. Thank you so much, Nina. Thank you so much, Maurice. Even with your dead phone, we appreciate you coming up.
Thank you.
Davis, as always, Nina, please come back and be with us again. You were great. We enjoyed you.
Absolutely.
It would be my pleasure. It would be
All right, y'all. We love you
Good
for
night,
free,
y'all.
and we'll talk to you next week right here on the Pew.
Bye.